Now, Doom, the Slayer's Trilogy. Now we're going to do the introduction, the titles, the story, the gameplay, and conclusion. There will be 2 parts to the story, though. The introduction, I'm going to talk about the Doom Slayer's Trilogy and how it literally blew our mind and affected our cells. The title is the Doom Slayer's Trilogy. Doom the Dark Ages, which I am completing the DLC for still, detailing the Slayer's dark fantasy horror story, following alongside the Night Sentinels. I did complete the main campaign. Doom 2016, the franchise continuation, which I already beat in 2019. This is a prequel that will release later, where the Slayer awakens on UC Mars facility to operate a fresh demonic invasion. Doom Eternal, the direct sequel in 2020, where Hell has officially invaded Earth. I beat that in 2020. Expanding the lore across dimensions. The story is in Doom the Dark Ages, following his decision to stay behind Hell at the end of Doom 64. An exhausted Battlewar Doomguy spit out into a portal in Argent-Denur, a world ruled by a medieval warrior race called the Night Sentinels. Dark Ages. This is a spin-off. The conflict, Hell launches a massive invasion against Argent-Denur. A demonic lord named Ajarok seeks the heart of Argent, a soul of the planet last protective raft to crush all resistance. The Ascent, manipulated by the angelic Maker race who ruled the realm of Urdok, a rogue Maker scientist named Samar uses a defending machine on Doomguy. Infused with a godlike power, he is reborn as the Doom Slayer. Yes. The climax. Armed with the Polaro giant mechs, Atlas, and his gunship, the Slayer leads his Night Sentinels to victory, driving Hell's forces back to and establish himself as an unstoppable superweapon. And then, in the DLC, you got the expansion bringing us a direct gap between the medieval prequel and the 2016 reboot, showcasing how the Slayer was ultimately captured. Wary of the betrayed Slayer's untethered battle, the High Council of Hell teams up with corrupt factions of the Maker and Sentinels to orchestrate a trap. The Mind Prison. The Slayer is wounded and caught by a cursed artifact, consecrated a chain spear, and thrust into a merciless, this is where I'm at currently in the DLC, psychological purgatory designed by the Council. Mysterious enemy called the Architect guides his soul through the trials and shatter the mental bond. 2 minutes through the Slayer successfully conquers the purgatory and trials to escape. The prison of his mind, the traps have done their job. Weakened and cornered by the legions of demons, he is sealed away inside a heavy, ruined storage sarcophagus deep within the sanctum of Hell. And then Doom 2016, I did play this, everything up to this. I'm still playing the DLC, because it came out later after 2016 Eternal. Eons have passed. Earth is facing a massive energy crisis, leading to the Union Aerospace Corporation from the first 3 games to colonize Mars again and harvest Hell's raw energy. The Awakening, a cybernetic USC director, used to be human, Samuel Hayden, leads an expedition into Hell, uncovers the Slayer sarcophagus, brings it back to Mars. When the lead scientist, Olivia P., detects a demonic cult and defects to a demonic cult and opens a massive Hell portal, Hayden wakens the Slayer to clean up the mess. Now, wait, what? Reclaiming his Prelator suit they did in Dark Ages, Slayer systematically smashes UC Argent harvesting infrastructure, caring nothing about humanity's energy needs, and focusing entirely on genocide. He travels between Mars and Hell and eventually tracks down Olivia's Peace, who's forcibly manipulating the cybernetic Spider Mastermaid. A Slayer executes the beast, but Samuel betrays him, saying that humanity still requires Argent energy. Hayden steals the demonic crucible sword and banishes the Slayer to an unknown locked dimension. 8 months later, Hell successfully invaded Earth, consuming 60% of the planet. Slayer commands a massive orbiting space station of the Fortress of Doom and returns to save humanity. The invasion, orchestrated by the Con Maker, the Legion leader of General Realm, who struck a deal with Hell to harvest human soul, converting them to Argent energy to prevent their own world, Urdok, from decaying. The Slayer hunts down and executes the 3 Hell Priests from the Dark Ages, anchoring the invasion to halt the harvest permanently, he travels to Urdok, corrupting the angelic realm's dimensional parity and breaking through the treaty between heaven and hell. In retaliation, the Conmaker unleashes the Icon of Sin, a colossal world-ending titan, onto Earth. The Slayer, which you fought in Doom 2. This time, he is not chained by a wall. The Slayer returns to a ruined Earth, battles the Titan across skyscraper, though it kind of seems resurrected, and stabs the exposed brain with the Knight's Sentinel's sword. It's Crucible sword, freezing it permanently. In destruction, the Conmakers shatters the cosmic balance, allowing Hell to launch a relentless invasion of Urdok and the rest of the multiverse. The Slayer teams back up and unconscious simultaneously and revealed to be Samur Maker, the Seraphim, to save the universe. He must resurrect the Father, the Supreme God. However, the Slayer destroys the Father's physical life sphere, choosing to instead resurrect Devoth, the Dark Lord of Ruler Hell, into a physical form so he can execute him like a mortal. The Slayer retaliates a remaining loyal Knight Sentinel armies for a final, massive merge on Amora, the hidden ultra-technological capital city of Hell. VC Devoth in the mechanical duel, the Dark Lord reveals that he was the original creator god, and the Father betrayed him. Unmoved by the cosmic politics, the Slayer drives the blade through Devoth's heart, because Devoth is the root of Hell's magic. Every demon outside Hell instantly degenerates, saving Earth and the multiverse forever. His lifelong crusade is finally finished. The Slayer loses consciousness, sealed back in the stone sarcophagus by the Spirit, reaching until the universe requires his wrath once more. The gameplay is even more interesting. 2016 Foundation introduces a hyper-fast, fluid, push-forward combat system. Players must aggressively damage demons until they stagger demons glow, prompting a brutal melee execution that drops essential health pickups. Chainsaw kills act as tactical reload mechanic, forcing enemies to burst with abundance of ammunition. Then you got Eternal, which significantly speeds up the combat loop by introducing vertical dash mechanic, a reusable meat hook grapple attached to the super shotgun. Gameplay functions like an aggressive puzzle. I beat 2016 Eternal, including the DLC for Eternal already. I'm trying to beat the Dark Ages DLC, although I beat Dark Ages. Patios manage a strict angle of resources, flame belts, armor, torch for shields, glowy coastal health, and the same stuff for ammo. Emphasizes technical targeting, allowing players to shoot off heavy demon weapon components like the Mancubus arm cannons to neutralize threats. And then you got the prequel era, which shifts the narrative back to the dark fantasy medieval sci-fi setting, including teases for the next trilogy with Lovecraftian element, delivers slightly more grounded, deliberate, yet highly kinetic and hard-hitting combat flow. Introduces game-changing defense and offense options like the shield saw and a versatile shield that shreds demon, alongside favorite staples like the super shotgun. Conclusion, you guys have no idea what you're in for. This game trilogy is gonna blow your mind, and you should immediately play it when it's out.